Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name's Rodney.
And my name is Zach.
Good to be talking to you, Zach. Good to be seeing you, Wink.
Ooh.
It's something the listeners won't know, but we're trying something a little different on our side. Let's see how that goes. But it's
nude recording.
We've had a couple of F1 races, and since our last episode, which was in the summer break, so we're back. We're back to talk about the races, back to talk about the state of things, and tell you what you should be thinking about coming into the next few races.
F1 indoctrination. We're renaming the podcast to just tell you what is important, because I tell you what, there's so much noise to work through these days, Rod, and this is our show where we tell you what's actually important. So we've got a super quiz, we've got some other bits and pieces to talk about. I've prepped what I think is going to be a fun super quiz. You know, when I'm writing the quizzes, I like to think, what will Rod get right so that he feels engaged, but also what will really challenge him and he'll find stupid and silly. So
he needs a bit of encouragement just to keep him interested and stop him from throwing, like having a complete sook.
Yes.
He needs a couple of rights so he doesn't feel like a total failure.
Exactly.
Thanks,
we all want to walk away with a win here, right? What do they say? A good deal is struck when one person feels like they got a steal and the other person really felt like they took the other person for a ride.
Yeah.
So, that's how it should feel. A bit of give and take. Where do you want to kick us off?
I came up this week with 2 ideas for super quizzes. Then I was like, who is doing the super quiz this week? Zach's doing okay, well, never mind.
Bank 'em.
So I got a couple
you just throw them away? Oh, that's good. At least you feel free to share with the group. So just in case someone who might have been struggling to come up with a quiz after 10 years of podcasting.
I didn't bring in quite enough for everybody, but we'll see how we go. I guess generally coming into this weekend, though, is the vibe. So because we're in Singapore and Japan, I've been seeing like the Australian Grand Prix Twitter account saying, hey, Aussies, who's going over to Singapore for the race? So I was like, not me, maybe one year.
I'm surprised, based on the amount of Australians I'm seeing in Europe right now, that Australia has anyone left, because it feels like you're all here. I've had this comment from other people who are non-Australian, talking about how many Australians there are in, especially North London right now. But Melbourne must be empty, mate, because you're all here.
We get out there. I mean, we've always been a whole bunch of people who love to explore the world. But then you might have noticed we were locked up for a couple of years, so we're making up for it.
That's true. Well, that is true.
With that said, with the races becoming a little bit more local than usual to me, I am getting the fever, so that's a good thing. But what have been the big stories kicking around in the old F1 talkosphere? Talkosphere, is that a thing? Can I make that a thing?
Yeah. I think what I really want to talkosphere about, and this has been on everyone's minds. Your Formula One, we're kind of ignoring it, but even they're talking about it. Max Verstappen's domination.
Oof.
Liberty Media are unhappy with it. Formula One's not really happy with it. Wikipedia is very happy about it because they get updates.
Wikipedia are doing very well. Citation needed.
They're like, oh yes, it's just something you look at. Who said that? Was it Toto Wolff who said that? He was like, it's just something for Wikipedia. Who reads that? The second most read website or something in the world.
So that's the thing, because we do this show where we need to know our stats, and I need to know who won this, and I need to who did that, and where's the state of thing. I go to Wikipedia all the time. I love it
endlessly. Yeah,
I'd be lost
so well
it.
linked. If any of you listening do any editing on Wikipedia for the Formula One stuff, it's so good, because you'll be like, you're just looking at one, you'll be looking at like overall stuff, and then you just click on a year mark and it takes you to the full year page of that one with all of the stuff.
It's all right there.
Just all, God, it's gorgeous.
If you don't know what we're talking about, obviously Max Verstappen won 10 wins. Now this was like a big thing, and obviously he set the record for most consecutive wins, and yip yaha hooray, good on him and all the rest of it. They asked Toto Wolff what he thought of it, and he said, I don't care. It's no big deal, actually, because, only people in Wikipedia care about that. And then someone asked, I don't know if you saw this, but someone asked Max Verstappen about Lewis Hamilton, and he went, look, Lewis, he's won 6 championships now, and they were like, no, he's won 7. And he went, I think he's won 6. And the guy went, no, he's won 7. And he went, I don't know, I don't read Wikipedia, so I don't know. Fucking wrecked him.
Yes. I'm coming right back around on Max Verstappen, really.
Well, I mean, I hate it because, like, I shouldn't be barracking for him. But I mean, he ingratiates himself. He has moments. I don't know who wrote that for him. I feel like someone's writing material for him. Like they're dishing the gear to him, but I don't even care.
No, he's nailed his delivery. He's nailed his personality. It's not his fault. He's really good, and he's not. I think he's leveled. It's leveled out, right? I think. Once he got that world championship done, he was like, oh, good. Right. I was arrogant for a long time because I needed to be, because I really thought I was that good, but I needed to have that level impetus about me to get this number one seat at Red Bull, to kind of show everyone I could do it. And then I did it, and it's good. I get it now. Like, I'm fine and I'm good and I'm amongst these great drivers and people are saying I'm one of the best ever. I think it's a little early to say that. F1 people.
Not me. Others are saying I'm the best ever. Not me. Like, I wouldn't say that. But others are saying they won't even.
People are saying.
Lots of people.
People are saying that I'm the best.
Actually, millions of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was that jibe. There was the Wikipedia jibe. There was the I don't care about I don't care about records because that's just for Wikipedia jibe. And then there was also the Lewis Hamilton one saying, oh, you know, he's only doing so well and winning so many races and stuff because his teammates are rubbish. My teammates were always really tough and I raced against the best that there was and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, Verstappen, nothing. Nobody. He's raced against no-hopers. And then that caused the whole thing. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at Mercedes where they're trying to act like, I don't even care. But it's like, you guys clearly care. This is clearly affecting you so bad.
Can I have a quick call back to when you said jibe? I wanted to say jibe to survive or drive to jibe. It's one of the two. But, who did Jenson Button race against? He had Lewis Hamilton. As Barrichello. So that's
Alonso.
1 out of 2 world championships. Okay, 3, yeah. So we've got two out of 3 world champions. I suppose he was a world champion. That's good.
He didn't race against himself. That was the point I was going to make, is like, who did Max Verstappen race against? And it's like, well, if you look at the last 10 years, there's only 2 drivers that have won world champions, you and the guy that you're racing against. And like, Verstappen can't race against himself. So what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. I suppose, look, his co-drivers, he's seen them all off. He didn't get to see Vettel off, though. The hard work had been done by Daniel Ricciardo.
That's true. And then he saw Ricardo off, so I don't know. There was a video that I put out. I mean, I covered this on one of the live streams and cut it into a little video that, I don't know, I guess the teammate thing was just so hot that you could put anything out on. You could just put like, you know, a video camera pointing at a fish tank, put it out and call it the teammate, you know, debate finally ended and put it out on YouTube and it would have gone crazy. But I just thought, like, you know, I feel like I've had mine say. I don't know if you had any other hot takes about it, though.
No, I think that people are just finding things to talk about at this point.
That's
kind of weirdly meta. But us talking about the things that people are trying to find a thing to talk about, it's always tricky with domination like this, because it's hard to find a place for Max because he's really good, but then none of the other teams are very good. Was it always kind of like that? Well, when Vettel was dominating, it wasn't quite the same as this. When Hamilton was, you kind of felt like there were hard-fought years for a lot of the time, which was kind of true too. But that's not to say that Max's first championship wasn't like that. It went down to the last race and he got a little leg up, but every driver needs a little bit of luck, seemingly. But it'll shake out. It's just the scariness of that he does just look indomitable, that maybe it will be different at Singapore and at Suzuka. I want to talk a little bit about how Ferrari threw everything at them at Monza. How do they keep doing this every season, by the way? It seems like for the whole time we've been podcasting, no matter how good they are, they just turn up at Monza and they're like, right, we've saved up all of our gems and we've saved up all of our boosts. We're going to use them here. Like, this is the only thing. We handicapped our car for
the entire rest of the year just so that we could be competitive here.
Yeah, it's incredible to me that they somehow, like, even when they were just showing up the recent winners, I was like, oh yeah, like Charles Leclerc won there last year. That seems impossible.
But, I mean, fucking Sainz. I mean, just when people are like, Leclerc is the big show here and Sainz is the other guy, all of a sudden, Sainz out there, like, not even, like, out-qualifying his teammate, but out-qualifying everybody to take pole. Incredible effort. And then, like, fighting for his life, defending against Perez and then defending against Leclerc at the end. Yeah. I mean, just incredible stuff from him. The real making of him, potentially, if he goes on to do anything good after this. We'll look back at that race and be like, that was the one where Charles Leclerc is like, you know, he proved that he has like a Terminator style, like skeleton made out of whatever the Terminator skeleton's made out of. You probably know. Terminator skeleton.
No, I was going to say adamantium, but that's Wolverine. Yeah, he's the T something or other. So it's but it's probably some special titanium. This is a James Cameron thing, right? So it's unobtainium, probably.
Oh, fucking hell. Zach and I had a big debate before recording about great directors. James Cameron, don't get me started.
Met aliens. That was all good. That's fine.
What were we talking about? The signs, the making of the man signs.
Making of signs, yes.
This could be the arrival of him.
This is it. Leclerc's done. We can all phone it in on Leclerc. He's out of here. Carlos Sainz, the making of. Yeah, a la poubelle. I mean, Carlos Sainz, he's been coming for a while, though. And maybe this is actually it. It's something to be said for keeping Verstappen behind him for so long. But it was depressing that as soon as Verstappen got past, it was like, bye. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that car, it can't follow, but it can enough that eventually he'll get you.
That's what I was going to say, and I feel like that's why everyone's so salty in particular about Verstappen is because, like, the Red Bull car is so good and Verstappen is so good that combination is so lethal that even if one of those two dulls and isn't as threatening, you've still got the other one. So it's like, oh man, it's a real handicap to the rest of the grid, so that they've got to try and reel him in somehow. But I mean, they'll find a way. But
yeah, the sport does eventually kind of equalise, I suppose. But he's going to be here for a while. And look, we get to see him fighting against Hamilton for a couple more seasons, which will be nice. Hopefully Mercedes can get their stuff sorted out, because we've got the Russell ham sandwich pairing grouping for another couple of years.
This was the other thing. And I also feel like some of this Wikipedia, I had better teammates stuff was all happening at the same time that Mercedes announced Hamilton and Russell are being retained until the end of 2025. And I'm sure that part of it was they wanted to own the good news stories from that weekend. And then when they were like, all everyone wants to talk about is Verstappen setting the new record, they were kind of like, what the fuck? No. But we've got Hamilton and Russell.
We're going to set the record for the driver at the same team for the longest amount of time.
Two interesting things about this announcement were that, number one, it's until the end of 2025, not the end of 2024. Why is that interesting? Because there's like 10 drivers that going to be out of contract at the end of 2024. So number one, Mercedes won't be in a position to pinch any of those drivers that are available. But number two, their two drivers will jump that. They'll leapfrog that. So then, if one of them leaves at the end of 2025, they'll be having to find the driver it might be slim pickings by then. I don't know. The other interesting thing about that was they announced Hamilton and Russell have re-signed both at the same time, and they said something along the lines of, we've got the strongest driver lineup on the grid. And I just happened to be watching the F1 pre-race show with old mate Bill Wuxton, who said, I'm not sure that they do have the strongest driver lineup on the grid. And I was like, who are you? What am I watching here? Bill Wuxton saying that Hamilton and Russell aren't the best drivers on the grid? Who is better? You tell me who's better.
Yeah, I mean, it's very strong. But I mean, you just can't look past the Liam Lawson
Yuki
Tsunoda pairing, I think, as the best ones around. I think they're so strong. I mean, how do you even... the big question is, Rod, do Hamilton and Russell even lift? This is the thing. How strong are they, really? I don't think they're super strong.
Yeah.
One of them's quite tall.
Who do you think... Well, here you go. Who do you think benches the most out of anyone in the F1 grid? Who can lift? Just deadlift, bang.
Who can really deadlift, bang? Oh.
It's hard to think of anyone.
It's really hard. I don't know. I feel like Sainz is a big, strong boy. And I feel similarly about Perez, funnily enough.
Oh, yeah. Strong core. No one's like a big, like bulky meathead. So it's hard. Like no one comes to mind as like, well, he's the He-Man. He's the Hulk of the grid.
No.
You know
because any of the tall boys have to be really slender because they're like, I'm already a disadvantage because I'm a big, tall boy. I've got to get under that kind of 75 kilo weight limit somehow. I can't be stacking on the like heavy muscle.
A big, tall boy.
I want this light, bone and skin. No muscle allowed.
Yeah. I mean, you think about the physique of the Formula One drivers. Like, I mean, they're a lot more sort of Roger Moore than Daniel Craig, aren't they?
Yes. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Even Timothy Dalton was a...
Oh, yeah. They've got a touch of the Dalts.
Touch of the Dalts. I'm sorry to hear that for you. I hate they're immunising against that now.
Can't come into work today. I got a touch of the Dalts.
Oh, dear. Russell, go and win something, mate. Please, for God's sake, put us all out of our misery. You know, I was just looking how old old mate Russell will be. So he was born in February 1998. So at least he was born last century, like the both of us, last millennium. At least we've got
he did us that courtesy.
Yeah, and he's 25. So by the end of season 2025, he'll be 28? And so really, by that point, he'll be looking for his last contract move, right? The big, I suppose Formula One drivers hang around till they're 40 these days. Well, the good ones do. The world champions do. I wonder if then he'll still be waiting for his chance at a world championship. Is he just waiting out Lewis Hamilton by that point? It's finally I'll be the number one driver.
It's possible. I mean, there's obviously those sort of prime years, and then if you haven't set yourself up to be in the best team by then, you're not going to win a string of 5 championships because you have to do the work when you're in your mid-20s. Also, of course, Lewis Hamilton lifts the most. It's just obvious.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, Russell has a touch of the button about him. I think that he could win a championship in one of the off years.
He could.
Yeah. I bet you he'll sign another 2-year contract at the end of 2025. Hamilton will retire. It'll be a weird 2025 is. We'll be in this. We'll have the new tyres then. So yeah, 2026. Write it down. George Russell, world champion, 2026.
Wow, really swinging for the fences with the big predictions this week.
Should have saved it for the season in show. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, good on Mercedes. Obviously, they wanted to lock in Hamilton. I think that the Hamilton-Russell pairing pretty good generally. I mean, if they were. We haven't seen it yet, but if they were competing for wins, you'd have to imagine it would at least be civil. Russell isn't going to... it's not going to get spiteful on Russell's watch.
How did you feel about the kind of Ferrari racing each other bits and pieces at Monza?
I mean, it hurt because I wanted to see Sainz get the podium. Fred Vasseur said that we let them race as a treat for the Tifosi. We let them race. I'm like, I think you let them race because good luck trying to stop Leclerc. I think that we saw that Leclerc will always go for it and always race in a way that Sainz probably won't and doesn't. If Sainz has a weakness, sometimes it's that the team says, please don't attack. And he goes, I'm really upset. We're going to have stern words later. And he doesn't attack. Whereas Leclerc just tries to attack and then he's like, well. Shit
didn't
happens.
work. Sorry.
So, yeah, I guess that's kind of, it shows their personality. But what I liked about it was, genuinely, there was about 30 or 40 laps of tense competition that I was deeply invested in. I haven't seen that for a long, long time.
I know. And good racing and good. I feel like the things worked. The DRS zones worked.
Yes. Hard racing.
Yeah. Right amount of time. Haven't seen that race start thing in a while where they, pull someone. I always think whenever anybody, whenever anybody breaks down at the start, I'm always just like that. That's the worst, man. That's so close. Getting to the, you've been on the plane ride, you've gotten to the destination, they don't let you through customs or something.
Interviews,
grueling
days with probably a bit of light training before and after, and then you could have stayed at home and had the same result.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, it did not start. Yuck. No,
we'll get to predictions later. But yeah, so there's someone predicted it was Yuki Tsunoda that retired, right? Someone had Yuki as their pick for 10th, and I was like, oh man, I hate that. I just hate that.
That's no good. That's no good at all. But yeah, that was rough. I like a short race, baby. Give me a 55 lap race every weekend.
Absolutely.
I'm here for it. Yeah,
I've got a bedtime I've got to get to as well.
Chomp. Give me those short little snacky races.
I haven't seen, the Dutch Grand Prix obviously has been around Zandvoort has been around since forever and a day. A lot of the years that I spent watching Formula One, we never raced in Zandvoort, and then it's obviously come back recently. But that banked curving, I just couldn't really get enough of it. It's so interesting. And then people were showing replays of Fernando Alonso overtaking 2 cars at that banked corner, and this year he did it on the inside. Last year he did it on the outside. It's he's just the master of that banked curve. But it was also that sort of banked curve was right where Ricciardo had his accident that broke his wrist. I've been watching the replay a lot of that. What I kind of noticed was that because he goes into the bank curve and hits the wall, it's a weird thing, but his front wheel hits the wall and then straightens, and he's not expecting it. So that's how he did his wrist. But I mean, other than that, like it's mixed feeling. I have mixed feelings about the curb. Love the banked curb, but also it's taken Daniel away. And I mean, you know, as much as I feel like he's pretty running hot and cold on form, just generally, I mean, there's no denying that he has electrified the F1 content world.
He really has. But maybe we just kind of need him around Formula One without him actually having a drive. Or maybe he doesn't need to take out one of these AlphaTauri drives. Maybe he could just be... He'd be great at Haas. Could we just stick him in there? They've nailed their driver lineup in perpetuity, though, as well. They're happy with it.
They announced that they re-signed both their drivers. Fans are annoyed. They're like, this is boring. We don't want these guys. It gets so uninteresting.
Years ago, they would have been two of the more interesting guys.
Absolutely.
But now, I know. Well, maybe the dream of Ricardo... maybe we could have Ricardo Bottas, like the rejected number 2s at Alfa Romeo. That'd be sweet.
The bridesmaid team.
Yeah, because, oh man, would you keep him in AlphaTauri, considering this young man, the man they should have put in the drive, Liam Lawson, to begin with? Maybe they should have just done it, right? I think he's doing the thing that we said on our last show that we haven't seen drivers do in a little bit of time, which is like, you know, outperform the car, do the thing. Although Alex Albon's quietly just been doing that every single race.
That's true.
Yeah, in this middle part of the season, good on him. We can still talk about him another time maybe. But yeah, Liam Lawson, the man who sounds like a Formula One made-up driver in a video game. And this is Liam Lawson from New Zealand.
Sounds fake.
You know, it does sound really fake. But 13th and 11th, I want to say. And... it's like he was born to drive.
Doing pretty well. And I mean, all reports were that they saw Ricciardo's pace at that tyre test that he did, and they were like, well, this is the guy, get him in, because we're not sure yet about Liam Lawson, but we know that we don't want Nick DeVries anymore. So we just know we don't want
Process
him.
of
Liam
elimination.
Lawson's not quite ready. Let's
we know,
taxi Ricciardo in. But,
we know we don't like this mackerel, but we always like chicken strips. And Daniel Ricciardo's the chicken strips, so let's just get him in.
That's true.
But Liam Lawson is that delicious sushi.
For all the people that saw Daniel Ricciardo return to the sport and were licking their chops going, this is it, baby. One or two good years at AlphaTauri, straight back into Red Bull. Daniel just like teaches Max Verstappen a thing or two. And then, you know, all of a sudden we're talking about world champion Daniel Ricciardo. I mean, obviously I think that is nonsense. But they dared to dream. This is the worst possible scenario that Daniel comes back, but then he's out injured. Why? Because he's going to be out injured for a while. Number two, when he comes back, he's going to be less than 100%. He's already less than 100% because he hasn't even got back to being race fit yet. No. But also, there's the risk that this hungry, plucky youngster is going to come in, absolutely drive the wheels off the thing, and at the end of the year, suddenly they've got a decision to make. Who do we put back in?
Yeah, and they didn't want that decision to be about. Daniel would have been like, they probably still would have thought about it a little bit, but
and then we still would have picked Daniel.
Yuki. Yeah.
Now they might have some thinking to do.
Yeah, exactly. Now they've got to be like, well, they don't need to dump. Like, Yuki's good as well, and he's just so small. He's easy to get around.
I was going to say he's getting better. Man, he's getting smaller. Did you notice he's getting smaller? Anyone else notice that Yuki's getting smaller?
Did you? I often think, because there are people who send me Formula One memes that aren't you.
I didn't see memes, really?
Shared no, not memes, but like there's this little. Did you see all the drivers coming out of or going into somewhere like the drivers' conference? You know, the little driver briefing, right? And everyone's together and everyone's having a fun time. You know, Piastri's having a chat with Lando, and everyone comes out, and then Yuki comes out. And he's just so small. Like I was like, no, but I think he might have been standing next to Albon or like one of the slightly taller guys.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so he's not tiny. He's just a short guy.
He's pretty short.
The reason this person sent me this video was because who's the last guy to come out? It's Lance Stroll on his own, on his phone, like tapping away on his phone because everyone else is coming out chatting, all in pairs or little groups of three. But Lance is Scott. He's got no mates. He's just. I don't know,
back to Lance in a second. The video that I thought you were going to talk about is one that I just saw today, which is Yuki Tsunoda running late to get onto the bus for the driver's parade, and then he's like, his little legs are just, and he's got to like there's like the ladder at the back, and he's like in the movies, he's got to literally run and jump up onto the ladder to get onto the. So good.
I thought you were going to say that someone picked him up and tossed him onto the car.
Yes.
And Alonso caught him and put him down next to him, popped him in his breast pocket.
we could go into Lance Stroll territory, making the headlines for some of the most bizarre reasons lately. Like there was a headline I saw the other day that was like fans losing their minds over reveal of Lance Stroll's real name. And I was like, what's his real name?
What's his
is
real
his
name?
Not Lance?
Yeah.
Like, no, it is Lance, but his name is Strolovich. And I was like, oh, okay. Sure,
Strolovich.
whatever. Fine.
Okay, I mean, we've all had name changes.
And then the other thing he's making
stuff.
headlines for is his girlfriend, which is like, I mean, good on him, but so what? And then there's also the rumors.
Is she also a really fast driver? Is that why?
I mean, it's noteworthy for some other reason, I assume. But and then the headlines that he's going to quit F1 and go and become a tennis player. It's like, what legacy is this guy leaving? Really?
Cool. Well, he's yeah, he would. There was a little period there where he was, getting close to the podium and stuff. Do you think it's his fault? I mean, the car's fast. He used to be okay. Maybe.
I just don't understand what world. Yeah. He's so close to success in Formula One. I mean, he's being successful in Formula One, but in what world is he going to quit and go and try tennis? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Maybe he's bored. Maybe he's sick of maybe he's a soft touch. Maybe he's got a kind heart and people are being mean to him. And maybe none of the drivers like him either. If that video, that small bit of evidence is anything to go off, he's got no friends in Formula One on the grid. And can you imagine having to be forced to hang out with Alonso all the time? It's like hanging out with your own dad, who's way better at you than all the things that you do. At some point in your life, the balance shifts, and you become better than your dad at something. It's never happened. His real dad's way richer than him, and
it's like that thing.
Formula One dad is way better.
You get a job, your dad's retired, you get a job, you're earning good money, you got a home loan, and you go out for dinner and your dad's like, don't worry, I'll pay. And it's like, mate, what are you doing? You just got to let dads be dads sometimes, though.
You just got to let dads be dads sometimes. And Fernando Alonso is the guy who's committed to not being the dad of Formula One. He's like, I'm here, but I got my own cool clothing brand, and I like to surf, and I got going out with Taylor Swift. Don't even worry about it. I'm cool and young.
But remember that?
Yeah.
Wow, that was only a couple of months ago, but I'd forgotten about that.
What a year! What a Formula One year. So yeah, Lance Stroll, tennis player. Okay, cool. Yeah, man, I don't think you got a chance, but maybe he'll play paddle instead.
Paddle? What? That's the new thing too. Why is everyone playing paddle all of a sudden?
I think people like vaguely European things, and if you're
What's
not
European
very good
about
at tennis,
paddle?
you can play paddle. I think a lot of the Spaniards and Portuguese play it.
But okay, other than the fact that it's popular there, like there's nothing about it. Like, it was invented here. We invented standing in a bit and hitting softer.
Maybe.
Wasn't it something to do with older people? Where they're like, older people love playing this because it's not as rigorous as tennis.
Yeah, you can hit it off the walls and stuff.
But it's just bat tennis, right? Did you play bat tennis when you were at school?
Yeah, but you can hit it off the walls and stuff. It's in a box. It's like squash. I think you can play it inside. That's good. You can play tennis inside too, I suppose. It takes up more space. People like sports that are, what these things were all meant to be, which is kind of recreational. You don't have to be super amazing at it. It's not just about pace and power. It's about strategy.
It just feels a little bit like that time when they invented like the basketball where you jump on the trampolines and go and dunk the basketball. And it's that's fun. But 5 years later, I was like, what was that? I don't even remember that.
What was that called? I remember watching that.
Slam ball? Something like
that. Slam ball. Maybe Stroll can go and join a slam ball league.
We should start that rumor.
Yeah. Are we thinking pickleball? Is pickleball the same as paddle?
What's pickleball?
People talk about pickleball. The Americans talk about pickleball.
I could totally imagine that they were like, we can't pull a paddleball. We have to Americanize it.
Yeah, pickleball is paddle, but without the paddle parts.
Yeah.
Without the hey, hit it off the walls, or the walls can be without the squash elements.
Yeah, cool.
Anyway,
cool.
Back to Formula One. I think probably.
That's about it.
Yeah, Stroll, bad, but will be here until his dad says he has to leave. Liam Lawson, probably going to get that drive because he looks like a guy who's been driving very fast racing cars in a competitive way right up until he was dropped into this AlphaTauri seat, whereas Daniel Ricciardo looked like he'd been playing basketball with his mates and maybe some Formula One video games, and then broke his hand and probably, would you give him the seat back? If Liam Lawson's doing this well, this has got Helmut Marko written all over it, mate.
Doesn't it? Oh, there's another Helmut Marko story we should maybe touch on. But the thing is, there's no rush for Ricciardo to get back. It's not like they're desperate for his skill and performance when they're like fighting for second last, and Liam Lawson's doing fine, if not better than Ricciardo.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they're like,
definitely
you take an
better
extra 2 weeks.
Yeah, really get that hand fixed up. And, what's that? You can't sign another contract because your hand's broken? Shame. We'll have to give it to
that.
Liam's got two
Daniel,
working
just sign
hands.
this, and then when he reaches out, they pull it away like, oh no, whoops, my hand slipped, and now you can't sign it. They're holding it up, and he's trying to jump, and he can't sign.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. No,
It's a cruel world at Formula One in the
It
Red Bull
is.
stable.
It's a cruel, mean world. Yeah. It's
I was going to say we should talk about helmet marker, but I don't want to.
Yeah, tell me. Go on.
No, the racist thing that he said.
Oh, yeah, well, we should call him out on that, though. Maybe. Yeah, he said a racist thing.
It was something along the lines of Perez isn't focused. He can't focus because he's South American. And then it's like, what?
Come
What?
on.
Oh my God, what? This year starts with a 2 and you're saying stuff like that. He's apologised. People were calling for him to step down. And I was like, look, I'm as outrageous as anyone, but that's maybe a step too far. He apologised. I mean, if he didn't apologise and double down on it, that would be something. But
it's always funny when people get reminded that Formula One is full of old white men who are xenophobic and conservative and are really rich. That's kind of the sport. Same as when you remind people that it's run by advertisers, and some of it might even be fixed. Who knows? But
what a weird case.
What a weird situation. Yeah, Helmut Marko, man. Why do they really still feel like they need him there, or is it they just can't let Horner run the whole thing on his own? It's the triumvirate of Horner, Marko, and Horner, Helmut, and Newey. Horner, Helmut, and Newey. Now, this is our law firm. Horner, Helmut, Newey. Trust us.
Yeah, well, that's who Felipe Massa will hire when he's trying to.
Oh, we haven't even talked about Felipe Massa. Yes, this wasn't on the notes, but it should be. He is going all in. He's got nothing else to do.
It really feels like that. Here's a link to the previous point. I have to wonder if there's maybe not someone behind the scenes pulling the strings who has the racial motivations potentially that are just I just want to get at Lewis Hamilton because fuck that guy. But because he has no,
can he share them?
There is no legal standing. There's nothing about the case that makes any sense other than Bernie Eccleston said a dumb thing once that they asked him about it. He's like, I don't remember saying that. But essentially saying because the Singapore Grand Prix was rigged, that whole result for that race should get thrown in the bin. But that's not what happens when a team cheats. The individual team's results get wiped and everybody else just carries on and they all get promoted. Yeah, so it wouldn't actually work the way Massa's claiming it would.
But that's how he's just... Look, he's been reading The Secret. He's manifesting his own destiny. If he just wants it bad enough, and he's been told by the people around him that if he can, if he can really stick with it and come after these guys. I like that that they're calling on Hamilton to give it up, so that Hamilton can be like, he can hand it over. It's his to give. Like if he just stepped away from it and said, you know what, I didn't win this fairly. I should give it to someone, and who more deserving than the world's greatest number 2 driver, Felipe Massa.
That came up a little bit when I was talking on YouTube about the teammate rivalry, and people were saying, Verstappen just got lucky, and he's only a champion because of this, and luck. And I was like, well, I can remember another driver who got very lucky and overtook somebody on the last few corners of a race to win a championship by one point. That was pretty lucky, you could argue. I mean, he still had to do it, but the luck went his way that day, that's all. Yeah. Anyway, Felipe Massa, good luck. It ain't going to happen.
No. It's just yucky. Like, why? Come on, mate.
The thing is, we've all seen that footage where Massa crosses the finish line and the Ferrari garage erupts, and then 30 seconds later, they're like, no, stop. We're going to lose. That moment, they have not gotten over that moment. Still, what is it? 16 years later, they have still not gotten over that moment.
No.
It's just sad.
Oh, Ferrari. Oh, Felipe. If you'd asked me who Felipe was racing for when he almost won that championship, I don't know I would have said Ferrari. For some reason, they just don't go together in my mind. But I don't know why. I mean, that's who he was with for ages. There's something weird about Felipe Massa. There is. There's lots of things weird about Felipe Massa.
How do we get out of this, Zach?
Well, I want to ask you then, if Lewis Hamilton gave it up, should it go to no one? What if Lewis was? Is that a better way? Is that the most stinging way to do it? Be like, you know what? Put an asterisk against it. Nobody won that year.
Like the opposite of love is not hate; it's indifference. That's sort of like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this, but you know who deserves it? Nobody deserves it.
Yeah. You know what? I've got heaps
even angrier.
Yeah. Really or maybe we could have a one-off race with the rest of everyone else. Lewis is like, you know what? I don't need it. Or let's have one race to sort this shit out, man. Come on, me and you. Couple of go-karts. Mono.
It's not a bad idea to just be like, look, shoot, like penalty shootout. You and me. Sprint race. Whatever you like. You pick your track, any track you like.
Pick your track, pick your car. I see in this world, I just don't see Lewis Hamilton ever losing. Like if I have to pick one guy, like pick a track, pick a car, I'd be like, yeah, Lewis Hamilton's just going to win. Like, duh.
And like Felipe Massa puts down the 3 hot dogs that he's been eating, is like wiping the mustard from his face. So let's go. Hamilton's like lifting weights and like, doing the reaction test. I think I'm ready.
Imagine Felipe Massa would want to pick a champion to do it for him.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Look, I feel like we could move on to happier things, better things, smarter things, you could argue.
Yeah.
Things like the Super Quiz.
We will accept a couple of questions. Should one only win one? Would one want to have won that one in round one?
Can you repeat the question?
I won't ask you to repeat any questions. If you enunciate and speak into that microphone in front of you, you'll only have to ask them once. But it is your turn, Zach, to hit me with your best Super Quiz.
It's the Super Quiz, and I've just noticed I forgot to write a fun, punny headline for it. I was too busy writing the quiz.
I mean, you don't start with the pun and then create the quiz around that.
I know, but let's see if I can come up with something. No, because we didn't talk about it, and I want to. Carlos Sainz got robbed, and then and then he went, fuck that, let's go get me unrobbed, and sent the entire Ferrari team on a manhunt to find these 3 guys who robbed him. And look, robberies, it was dangerous, yada, yada, yada. However, come on, man. So in celebration of robberies and things being stolen, I've got a super license stolen quiz that I picked up from some other guy. Do you want to make any comment on the Carlos Sainz robbery? Perhaps around why is someone wearing a €250,000 watch?
This came up in the Discord where people were like, someone saw him coming and ripped him off, and they were like, "How much is this watch?" They're like, "Oh, it's 100. I mean, it's $200,000." But I mean, let's face it. Not only was he given that watch, he's paid to wear that watch. Like he didn't pay $200,000 for it. So
no. And they probably Richard Mille or whatever probably really love it.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's a lovely watch, and I'm sure it keeps perfect time.
Unlike the Ferrari garage, maybe.
The thing that annoys me is that everyone was like, "Watch the video, see the video," and I'm like, "What's the video?" And the video is just like the police putting someone in a car, and like Sainz is like fixing his collar, and I was like, "But I want to see the thing. I want to see them grab his arm," and then like he turns around and he's like waving his fist in the air. I'll get you.
Yeah. Get me my fastest car. Let's go. No, it was just but I like that his like fitness trainer went off and got one guy, and then like somebody else from the team went and got the other guy, and Carlos caught the last guy. That's all fun. It's all good.
It's like, what a day. What a day. Like, just
I look forward to that episode on Drive to Survive. I bet you it won't even be in it. I bet you it'll be that doesn't fit the narrative.
I would literally watch an entire, like The Wire, watch an entire series just about that one day.
Okay. What's The Wire? Anyway. Question number, what? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 juicy questions for you. Question number 1, Rod, because this just reminded me of this thing as soon as I hear about drivers being stolen from. Actually, before I even ask the question, can you guess what this question might be about? As soon as you hear about drivers being stolen from, what's the one that really comes to mind?
Wait, are we talking about some kind of... Is this a metaphorical racing
situation?
No. Something was stolen from someone.
Driver being robbed.
I mean, Jensen Button comes to mind.
Yes, bang, done.
Okay, cool,
That's the first question. Answered already. Which ex-driver claims to have been gassed as part of a robbery and he's sent to way home?
I forgot that he claimed he was gassed.
glorious. And there's no evidence. It's just that
Yeah.
he said he felt a bit funny when he woke up. So he was convinced they were gassed. Him and his girlfriend at the time and friends were all gassed, and then the place was robbed. Not nice, obviously. None of these things are when people get robbed.
It's just funny that there was no evidence of anything. Because, I mean, like, I'm not saying that there's no criminal in the world that hasn't been like, look, I've got the gas. I know a rich person. This is all coming together. I'm not saying it's never happened. Just that it was funny that he came to that conclusion himself based on seemingly nothing.
Yeah. No, he thinks he's a James Bond type, and that's the kind of life he thinks that he leads, is that, you know, he's got supermodel girlfriends, I'm going to get gassed. That's how someone would rob me, not just I left the door open and someone came and took all my watches. All right, so ding, 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 question number 1, you got correct. Question number 2, we were just talking about it. Which ex-driver is claiming his championship was stolen from him?
Felipe Massa.
Felipe Massa. Let's move straight on past that because we chatted about it already. Question number 3. Which driver famously swapped the first and second position markers in front of the cars at the end of the Canadian Grand Prix because he felt he'd been unfairly punished and had the race results stolen from him?
Sebastian Fingerboy Vettel.
Sebastian Fingerboy Vettel. I'd totally forgotten about that too. And I was watching him go up and grab. Like, this is the kind of stuff that just doesn't happen in Formula One anymore. You know, remember
He's
when
a
Lewis,
showman.
like, didn't get on the podium at Monaco because he was angry, and like Vettel did that.
The Hugh Jackman of the field.
Yes, exactly. There's none of this anymore. Everyone's just in their boxes. Oh man, shouts at cloud. All right, question number 4 already.
Whoa.
Well, we also... we answered this by accident before. So, Rod, Ferrari's drivers have had their watches stolen 2 years in a row now, because this also happened to Charles Leclerc last year, that he had his watch stolen in Italy. What was the brand of the watch that both of these drivers have had stolen?
Well, as you know, I'm a big watchman, a big watchman.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not Rolex, I'm not going to know.
We said it. It's Richard Mille.
Richard Mille. Okay. I guess they're a Ferrari sponsor, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's funny, right? As a marketeer.
Was that
They're
one,
not part
do you
of
know
the
the details
set.
of that one? Was that one also in a crowd or not?
Yeah, so this one he was out, for Charles Leclerc, he was out with his friend and some other friends, and they kind of met up some other people, and I think there were a few fans, and it was kind of a bit of a kerfuffle, not a fight or anything, but then his watch was slipped off someone took an opportunity to steal the watch without him really knowing. Yeah. Some really good pickpocket. A Matt Damon type.
Doing that magic trick where they're like, hold this ball, no squeeze it really, really hard, and then the next thing you know, I've got your watch.
Look over there. I've taken your belt. So yes, it was.
I'm not wearing a tie.
Not part of the evoked set of watch brands. You would have said a Rolex or perhaps an Omega. But Richard Mille, I think they're one for the very, very... I don't think they make a cheap watch. I think they only make the ones that are like carbon and like have a little guy inside who turns the hands for you.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, question number 5. Rod, Sydney made a secret bid to prize the Australian Grand Prix away from Albert Park recently. But which city also tried to steal the iconic Melbourne race?
An Australian city? Adelaide?
Yes,
I heard
it was
want
Adelaide.
it back.
Yeah, they wanted. They heard that Sydney were like making this big pitch of flying people over where they were going to build the race and like having secret meetings with Jim and Carly in Italy in London, and then Adelaide heard this and were like, we're also going to ask for it actually.
Yeah.
Dearestformula1.com. They just submitted a contact form.
I used to have holidays in Adelaide a lot when I was a kid, and then we went there for a holiday a few years ago. And there's on the beach down in Glenelg, there was this like pirate ship that was it was like a pirate ship, but it was a restaurant, and it was like a sort of a joke thing you would go to, but it turned out to be really, really good. And recently, I was like, let's go back to Glenelg. We could stay on the beach, and we could go to that pirate ship restaurant. And we looked it up, and the pirate ship restaurant closed down.
No, right.
So obviously, Adelaide needs another draw card now that they've lost.
Yeah,
Shivery Timbers restaurant, whatever that was, small, like I forget what it was called, but it was genuinely a really a good restaurant.
Okay, you weren't just wowed by the surrounds, by the pirate ship feel. No, okay, that's fair enough. I remember there's a restaurant like that in Hobart that when Amber and I went down there, my wife and I, her sister and her sister's husband had met in Hobart, and they went on their like first date to this restaurant, and it's similarly themed, like it's Pirates Treasure Chest Cove or whatever. And they're like, seafood's really good. And they were right, except they like cooked everything out in the restaurant. And that jumper that I was wearing that night, this nice wool jumper, smelt like seafood for like 2 years. Like there was just no way of getting out. So thanks for that, everybody there at Captain's Booty or whatever you were called.
The idea of you walking down the street and there's like seagulls attacking you and stuff. It's him, the shrimp man. Get him.
Shrimp boy. Okay, our last question, Rod. We couldn't have done it without... I had to top and tail this quiz with the two famous robberies in Formula One, I think, or Formula One related robberies. Question number 6. We know the famous story of when Jaguar stuck diamonds onto the nose cones of their cars at Ferrari to help promote Ocean's 12. But which driver crashed and lost the inadverted commas?
I knew it was going to be about the diamond and the crash. I think it was at Monaco.
It was at Monaco, yes.
What driver was it?
Who was the
team
driver?
again? What team?
Jaguar.
And what year? And who were their drivers that year?
You really walked me right into that one. So, I can tell you who one of the drivers was. It was one Mark Webber, but he was not the guy who crashed.
He's the only one that I can think of. Who was his teammate there, though?
Not a very storied Formula One career, this guy. I couldn't have named it.
Is it...
You want to have a guess and I can give you a hint?
Is it Jarno Trulli?
No, it wasn't Jarno Trulli. Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
Has the same last name as a famous clothes brand, and his first initial is also the same initial as that famous clothes brand.
Oh, Christian Klein.
Christian Klein. Yeah.
Calvin
there we go.
Klein.
Calvin Klein. There we go.
That was a good clue.
No worries, mate. I went and looked at his career, and it's just a nothing career. Poor guy. He won the Formula 2000s or something, and then got into Formula 1 with Jaguar, and just never really happened for him.
He probably won Indy Lights 10 years in a row. You're just ignorant.
That's true. That's true. He always got a WEC contract, and then they pulled out at the last minute. Like, poor guy. Anyway, well, not poor guy. I'm sure he's a wealthy guy.
I'm sure he's, yeah. You want to see this massive diamond that he's got at home. It's incredible. Don't feel sorry for him. He's doing okay.
So if no one knows the story, just quickly, I'll tell you the story. Formula One team, Jaguar and their owners were like, shit, we're in Monaco. We're not making enough money from these. Yeah, fucking shit, we're here. We did it, boys. But they're like, at Monaco, all these famous people come to this race. This is what used to happen. Now they all just go to the Miami race. We should do something with the fact that there's rich people here. We should tie up a movie sponsorship. Oh, this is great. Like, Ocean's 12 is actually like set in Monaco. Perfect. We should, or maybe it's in Lake Como. It doesn't matter. But, Jules, blah, 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 blah. Let's get a sponsorship. Let's get a sponsored tie-in with like some diamonds from De Beers or something and the Ocean's 12 thing. And so there's photos of like Matt Damon and George Clooney and Mark Webber and Christian Klein, all posing with these cars, and they stuck diamonds onto the front noses of these cars during practice and qualifying. And I think in practice they were like stage diamonds, like they look like big jewels, and then for the actual, oh no, maybe that was for the promo videos, but for the actual race days, they had like these diamonds ranging between like 100 grand to 300 grand. And sure enough, first lap of qualifying, Christian Klein drives into the side of the road, like into like a bollard, and like the nose snaps off, and it just disappears.
Yeah.
And no one has ever found the diamond or the nose or anything like that. It's just perfect, and I can't wait to see Ocean's 16 about that actual incident, about how they managed to lure a company into putting the diamond onto the car, and yada yada yada. Here we are. Here they are on the quiz.
This is the kind of class and sophistication that Formula One used to have. I did see a video, I think yesterday, of the Williams drivers picking which NFTs they want on their rear wing for one of the races so that they can sell the in-race NFT for more value. Give me a diamond.
I thought we were done. I thought the NFT stuff was over.
Apparently not.
Oh, man, I'm ready for Web 4. I don't need any...
I'm hearing Web 3.5 is a thing. I don't even know what that is.
Cool. I never really felt like I was involved in Web 2. So maybe we can get on... Actually, you know what? Podcasting's Web 2. We were part of the Web 2.0. We were using Gmail.
Yeah. You were telling me about some TikToks before.
Yeah, we jailbroke our iPhones. Are we allowed to say that? Yeah, you're allowed to say that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
I actually don't think I ever did.
Really?
Because there was, I don't know, I could always afford the $2 for whatever game I wanted, so I was like, what's not worth the hassle?
Didn't you want SMS instant reply by holding on the thing and being able to type in the box as opposed to having to open up the app? No.
Sure, it was great.
Didn't want to run some custom backgrounds before you're allowed to put your own custom background on? No?
It's so handy. And every time you turn your phone off, you just have to plug it back into the computer with a cable. It's so good.
God, I remember jailbreaking my Apple TV, and that was always the case. Turn it back on to get Flex going, and it would just be like, hey, got a hard restart with SSH and with the cable. And just, yeah.
And then they released Plex for the Apple TV, and I was like, it's time for me to buy one. Well, look, a great quiz. Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me a couple of softballs there because, you know, I did know quite a few of those questions. So thank you. We will be back, I guess, with another podcast in another month or so. So we've got what races? Singapore, Japan, and then maybe Qatar or something like that. It's coming up after that. We're getting through
the end of the season. Are we done with this season yet? Surely. How many more races has Max got to win before he's crowned World Champion?
Surely not.
It's not very many. I think it might be at Japan, right? That he can nail it down.
I guess it could be. I don't really know. But I mean, there's still a lot up for grabs, and there's so many points for a win. That's the thing. But it just gets so, like, is he really going to score 0 points for the next 6 races? That seems pretty unlikely given his form. But whatever you've got to do to get yourself through the Formula One races, I hope you find that. If that's listening to us, then all the better. Stay subscribed. We'll be doing some more live streams here and there as well on race days, usually 1 hour before races. And if you happen to miss that, usually try and cut the best bits into little videos and put them out. So another thing you could subscribe to if you wish is the Super License YouTube channel. Those 2 things popping off, going off their fucking cluckers. And I should have waited till you had a drink to drop that. But if those aren't your thing, if that's not your cup of tea, you could always follow us on threads of Super License F1 and also join the Discord. The other thing about the Discord we should shout out, the return of predictions after 5 years, I want to say, just decided, man, Discord's boring. Let's get the predictions going. So now we're in there predicting who's going to take pole win in 10th, just for shits and giggles. We're not running a full, counter fantasy league, but get in there and let us know who you think is going to take pole win in 10th every weekend. Tell you what, the first week back, I got the pole and the win. Pretty easy, though. And I got 11th. So right off the bat, I was
back
straight
to classics
on it. But it's heading up, like
I'm
I said.
predicting the same people for 10th that I've always predicted.
As everybody, like people who are newer into the circle, into the Super License camp, they're learning that, picking 10th is pretty hard. Because as soon as you pick someone, they'll either break down on the first lap before the race starts, or they'll be on the fucking podium, and you just don't know what you're going to get. You're like, oh God, back him in every time. He's Mr. 10th and that.
No, he's really good now, remember?
Or bad. Depends which way the wind is blowing that day. But predictions are back. So if you haven't joined the Discord and you're looking for something that you want to do that's fun, that makes it's a low cost. It's like gambling, but it doesn't cost you anything.
The best kind of gambling.
That's the best way to sell it. Come and join us in the Discord. We're having a good time.
You got links. Time.
If you can't find those, there's links to those on the website, which is superlicense.fm. Zach, the FM stands for?
Formula Machismo.
Machismo, yes, exactly. That's what, that was the name of the diamond. It was the...
Oh, I thought it was that thing with the, you put together the little stuff with the small screwdrivers and everything, Machismo?
Yeah, I think that's it. Well, I think that's about a show.
Okay, I think that's about a show.
All right. Anything else you want to say to the beautiful people before we sign off?
I'll tell you what, get involved. These are 2 good races. Singapore and Suzuka, the S's of the...
Just good vibes.
Yeah, it's just good vibes. If you can get to them, do that. If you can't, don't worry about it. There's always another time. And
just
enjoy them on the television. Yeah, stay hydrated, all these kinds of things.
That's it. Excellent life advice as well. Well, look, if we don't see you anywhere else, we'll see you next time on the podcast where we'll probably be crowning Max Verstappen champion by then. So we'll try and get through that as quickly and painlessly as we can before discussing
Singapore and Japanese beers to watch those races. Ooh.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Good snack races.
What are the Singapore beers?
Tiger. And Singer, I reckon.
Isn't Tiger Indian? Have I got that wrong?
No.
Have I just done a helmet marco here?
Yep.
Oh, no.
I think
I apologise to everybody
Tiger
concerned.
is, Singaporean. I think I
Okay.
want to say. Ooh, lots of Japanese beers you can have. Get an Asahi, a
Yeah.
Sapporo.
If you miss out in Singapore, you can double down for qualifying and the race.
Good snacks too. Man,
And
yes.
send us the photos of your great snacks and drinks in the Discord.
it.
That's where you do that. Here we go. Well, we did it. Time to sign off. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll talk to you again soon. Zach, good to see you and talk to you again. Until next time, my name's been Rod.
And my name's been Zach.
Catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.